Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. However this finds you, I do hope this finds you well. So listen, I'm not going to be on here for a long time, but I'm on here for a marketing flowers giving time. That is because today we are talking about Sinners. And no, I'm not here to give a review. Well, I can give a review. It was fantastic. It was phenomenal. If you haven't seen it yet, what? I don't know what to say. The movie came out months ago, years ago. I am not here to do a breakdown. By now, you have probably already seen several of these. I am here to talk about how the marketing that was done around this film is a masterclass in strategic marketing. And I'm saying that as a marketer and communications professional with over 20 years of experience, period. So come on in. I'm inviting you in. I ain't gonna bite you. Grab your matcha, grab your popcorn, grab your cranberry juice, something red, and let's get into it. Y'all see I got my small glasses on in honor of the twin at the end. So Sinners, it was not your average horror flick. Sinners scored a 98% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a rare A+ cinema score, which almost never happens in horror. Those numbers told audiences that this one's different. And just like that, people started showing up and telling their friends, you cannot buy that type of buzz. That positive word of mouth marketing, that turns your audience into your PR team. That is authentic and it spreads fast. I mentioned that there had been so many think pieces. There were so many reviews. Literally, that was the engine that drove weekend after weekend after weekend of this film breaking box office records. Warner Brothers didn't flood the zone early. They played it smart with what's called a late-breaking campaign. And what that means, y'all, is basically most of the marketing budget hit in the final 2 weeks before the release. And that worked. The first teaser gave just enough. No big reveals. If we think back to that point in time, we really didn't have a sense of what the movie was about. There was a lot of lead up in those last 2 weeks, including by now you've already seen it, the brilliant Kodak masterclass that Ryan Coogler did explaining how the film was shot. It captured his love of filmmaking and also it taught us.
Whenever we shoot a scene, unless it's with the intention of being slow motion, we're shooting at 24 frames per second. So whether it's through a camera or through a projector, each one of these frames are moving through 24 frames per second. So about these frames, all right, each time it's exposed on one of our formats, the Ultra Panavision 70mm format, okay, it's exposed with these 5 perforations, and it's exposed at an aspect ratio, which is basically the size of the rectangle that you're watching a movie on. It's exposed at a 2.76 to 1 aspect ratio. This is one of the widest formats you'll see a film.
When we go back to right before launch, Warner Brothers dropped that twin inference and the supernatural element. That got people interested. We still didn't know exactly what it was about, but it was just enough. In addition to the names that were tied to the film, of course, and Ryan Coogler is incredible. The result? Sinners opened to a $48 million domestic box office, which was the best debut for an original horror film since Us in 2019. And now, the film has brought in over $275 million in the US and $86 million internationally, putting its global total at over $350 million. That was done on a $90 million budget. That is a huge, huge win. So when we go back and we talk about the star power, we have Ryan Coogler and we have Michael B. Jordan. You know, the other thing that I really love is that Coogler brings in people who he's worked with before behind the scenes. For example, Ruth Carter working on costuming. But when we think about Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler together, there's that automatic credibility. They've worked together before on Fruitvale Station, Creed, of course, Black Panther, of course, and now this. And it's so dope how each and every time they put forward a totally different vibe, a totally different energy. It wasn't just names for this particular film. So I mentioned Kodak. Coogler leaned into the technical side heavy, and that was beautiful because he brought us into his world. The film was shot on 70mm IMAX, making it the first film since Oppenheimer to do so. Warner Brothers staged premieres in IMAX theaters across New York, Mexico City, London, and they invited everybody from Adele to LeBron to show up and post about it.
I thought I was the courtside. I was jumping
Insane. Yeah.
Ryan Coogler, great director, great storyline. It's a must-see.
It feels like a real movie. It's unbelievable.
And it feels expensive. Yeah, that's why we want to go see a real movie.
We started seeing that buzz early. The film had a cultural cachet and film nerd credentials at the same time. That is how you build a tentpole vibe around an original property. It wasn't just these celebrities talking about it. You had the technical to back it up. Here's where it got really, really smart. Sinners didn't try to be everything to everybody. They released it opposite the Minecraft movie. That film was for families and kids. So they leaned into the sophisticatedness of this horror film, the deep themes, the historical backdrops, and it paid off. Exit polls showed a big turnout from Black audiences, and that wasn't an accident. It was intentional. And now Sinners is one of the highest grossing original movies of 2025 and the most profitable horror films of the year. The buzz didn't just come from critics. Regular people, we kept this film moving. I don't know about you all, but I can tell you this. Most of the conversations that I've had with my people since this film's release, if I haven't seen you since I've seen the film, it comes up in conversation. Whether we're like, oh no, don't let her in, because you remember what happens when you invite somebody in, and we all laugh because we're all referencing the movie. We're talking about those memorable scenes and moments as part of our dialogue, as part of our lexicon. It's so dope. That is marketing that's going to continue to drive this film forward. It's grassroots in the most grassroots way. People telling their people, you have to see this. I have shamed many people. The friend groups that I mentioned, when I'm like, oh, have you seen Sinners? Someone's like, I haven't seen it yet. What? It's kind of like, oh, you know how to play spades? I don't know how to play. Don't tell nobody, but I don't know how to play spades. Before we close this, before we wrap it up, a quick detour here. It has to be said. I had mentioned there were a lot of think pieces, reviews, etc. from vloggers, from TikTokers, from respected media outlets. And in particular, I gotta say it, I was pissed when the New York Times used AI voiceovers that clearly were not Black folk to narrate their Sinners think pieces. Make that make sense.
This article is by Maya Phillips and read by an automated voice. This article contains detailed spoilers. Ryan Coogler's fantastical new Black horror film, Sinners, is a critical smash, a box office hit. But the director's latest collaboration with the actor Michael B. Jordan has also left viewers with plenty to unpack.
A film that centers Blackness, Southern horror legacy, and you couldn't even get an AI voice correct. This is not that you had to cast a voiceover talent. You made the choice to go in another direction using a computer voice. Yo, I was so livid. I was so mad. I wrote to them. I was pissed. It is 2025, and this lazy erasure, do better. Back to the subject at hand. Here's what studios and honestly any brand can take from Sinners. Do you. Make it excellent. Every detail, make it excellent. I know that sounds so simple, but it's true. Quality matters. Then timing. Sinners came out around Easter. That was intentional. And then there was a slow burn. That slow burn followed by a sprint worked. They used star power, but with purpose. The stars were also those folks who attended the film and could speak authentically, genuinely about their experiences. They didn't just allow the celebrities to be the ones who spoke about this film. The credibility of the film itself and the formatting, that did a lot of the heavy lifting. It was a beautiful film, period. Beautiful soundtrack, period. Beautiful, beautiful actors, period. The lane was defined. They were speaking to the audiences. There was such nuance in the languaging used and the culture lifted. Everything from bringing in the word Hank, which is a vampire, to Homeboy with the nails. I can't stand him. I could say, oh, spoiler alert, whatever. If you ain't seen it, but I don't know what to tell you. Homeboy who ended up being a vampire with the nails, who was supposed to guard the door.
Commit to it.
Commit to what?
That you dead.
Can I at least get my money?
Careful.
Telling Annie, telling our good sis, you probably cook with old grease. What? But that is a cultural thing. That is a nod to culture that only certain people will understand. I mentioned letting your fans talk. If you've done the work, if you've really focused and you've put together a beautiful piece of artistry, your fans are going to do the talking for you. Sinners is proof that original films still have a lane in a franchise-heavy industry. But you have to be concise. You have to do this with care. You have to market with clarity, respect for your audience. It's not just about spend. This is about trust. Sinners has earned the trust, has earned that. To me, it will go down as one of the best horror films of our time. Get Out, in my opinion, is still tops. Yo, I promised that I would not be on here for a long time, but for a marketing flowers giving time. And I delivered. Share this with somebody who needs a little bit of a bite today. Like and subscribe. And remember, until next time, you are capable of big things.